When I first watched Demon Slayer, the story didn't feel like anything I hadn't seen before, and usually that's not something I have a problem with, but in this case, I couldn't find myself connecting to the characters. While there's no denying that Nezuko is adorable and a pleasure to watch whenever she's on screen, her dangerous nature and lack of a conscious mind kind of relegated her to the background, because she's a plot device. So with that, I was just left with Tanjiro. I understood that Tanjiro was a kind older brother that was just trying to do his best amongst his tragic circumstances, but that was it. There's been tons of bland anime protagonists whose only standout trait is that they're kind. So at first, I wasn't really sure what made Tanjiro any different. But once the other supporting characters were introduced, that's when I understood that I actually understood nothing at all. Nothing. What sets Tanjiro apart is that his kindness truly feels authentic, but this is most accentuated by his interactions with Zenitsu and Inosuke, specifically in the episode where they go to the Wisteria Inn together. This is the first time in the series that you can see Tanjiro have a moment of levity and just be himself around other people outside of his family. And almost naturally, Tanjiro fits right in as the balance between these two crazy lovable idiots, and the dynamic that they form is truly a blast to watch. Even though Tanjiro spends most of the time reprimanding them and keeping them in line, he never actually gets mad at them. In a way, he treats them like they're his younger siblings. One of the best examples of this is when Inosuke brazenly takes Tanjiro's food and eats it in front of him, and Tanjiro's response is to gladly offer him the rest. It's in this moment that you can see that there's a certain warmth and generosity in the way Tanjiro treats them that can only be defined as that of an older brother. This is when I realized how much being an older brother defines Tanjiro's character and his kind disposition. From early on in life, he learned, as most older siblings do, that it's not just about what he wanted, but about looking after his family, setting an example for his younger siblings, and being a second parent when his father wasn't around anymore. Having to play this role molded Tanjiro to develop a sense of duty, sacrifice, and conformity. Being there for his younger siblings became his responsibility. So imagine how it felt when he failed to be there, stripped of the chance to even lift a finger to protect his family. The weight on his shoulders must have felt unbearable, to the point that it would have driven any sane person over the edge, to be consumed by despair and eventually filled with hate for the one who did it. But somehow, Tanjiro is able to retain his sense of self, his gentle compassion. This is only possible because of his younger sister Nezuko, who despite having become a demon is the one link to his humanity and what keeps him going forward in the darkness. Nezuko's continued existence allows him to keep being the only thing his family ever entrusted him to be, which is a good older brother. This allows the story to be less about revenge and more about finding salvation, and not just for Nezuko's condition, but for all of the people that have been hurt by demons, including the demons themselves. Throughout the show, we get so many scenes focusing on the suffering that demons experienced in their past lives, not really to justify their actions, but just as a reminder that they were once human too. And from the beginning, I wondered why the author chose